right, welcome now to Martin Woodward, VP of Developer Relations here at GitHub. Martin, there was so much cool stuff happening at the keynote this morning. I'm curious if you could tell us a little bit, like you were involved in this like from the very beginning. Martin has been involved in every step of the way as we've been getting this stuff built out. So could you, give us an idea about when this started coming together for the keynote? What surprised you most about what Thomas was going to talk about on stage?
Well, I think when it started, I mean, hubbers from all around the world have been working on the stuff that's gone into this keynote, for years in some cases, but definitely since the last universe. There's been thousands and thousands of releases that have actually shipped on GitHub in between now and then. So all that hard work that the people back at the office and spread around the world have been putting into the site. That was the first bit of preparation. Then we started, scoping out the venue, doing all that sort of stuff around the summertime, started planning out the keynote session in September, believe it or not. So, but yeah, it's been good. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Hopefully it was good. So there's plenty of stuff there.
Yeah. Now, did you have a favorite part? Like, was there anything personally that you really stood out that was your favorite part of the keynote?
Well, I mean, it's like asking you to pick your best child, I guess.
Yeah,
but I do have favorites.
I was going to say, you do have a favorite child, and you probably also have a favorite section. So what? Yeah. Let us know.
Rizel's section around Hey GitHub.
Oh, yeah.
That took a lot of guts.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of practice in that as well, but it took a lot of guts, and that's just blown my mind. There's been quite a few people on Twitter who've been asking, hey, we should do some stuff. I've got RSI and things like, is there anything I can do to Copilot to help me? And I've been wanting to come back to them and say, yes, we're working on it, but I knew it was going to be in the show, so I decided to keep that quiet. That was a fantastically good section. And then because I'm I used to code a lot, but I don't code that much anymore, and I tend to I'm a manager most of the time, delete emails a lot of the time nowadays. But the roadmap view that they showed is just going to be huge. I mean, we've been playing with it a little bit already internally.
Yeah, we have, and it's going to be massive for so many people.
Yeah, what I really like about issues is how it's like tracking that you actually want to use a developer. It's like it's tracking that doesn't suck. I'm trying not to swear live on stage, but it's it's just like it's just enough to keep you on track, but not so much that it adds all the friction, and that's what I really like about it. So yeah, that was good. Well, there was sections in every single demo bit of the keynote. There was stuff I wanted to talk about, and then Nathri's announcement as well about the funds that we're doing. So that was pretty fantastic stuff to see as well. So,
amazing.
All good.
Amazing. Yeah, with issues, my inner project manager calls out to your inner project manager, and we're just dancing in the streets, right?
Yeah.
So, Martin, we have an amazing catalog of panels and sessions over the next 2 days.
Yep.
What stands out to you?
Well, there's lots of sessions on today, but if there's going to be one session you check out of the whole conference that wasn't the keynote, make sure you check the end note from Kyle Daigle.
Yes.
It's just, I watched that last night, and then you sat in there, and we were just like...
It was amazing.
It's just absolutely amazing. Not just the, there's all the technical side that's there, the things that we're demonstrating, and it's like looking into the future a little bit as well as looking into the past. But just the developer relations person in me really admires his stagecraft, because he's doing all the demos completely 100% live.
Yes.
They're all, really running on the edge. So that's an exceptional session. And then today, this morning session, we had so much to announce, so much to talk about, that it kind of... There was a bit in there about the community, but it was kind of GitHub, we're doing this and this. So actually tomorrow morning, Stormy's going to be on talking about, and it's an entire keynote just about the community around GitHub and highlighting, different projects. And we picked some amazing, amazing projects to sort of tell the stories of and help people get inspired.
Yeah, that's actually a really good note on that. Tomorrow, Anjuan and I are going to be doing the Open Source Awards here at Universe, and so we're going to be, giving awards to projects and to maintainers who have done really great things over the last year. But there is an audience award, so if people in the audience want to vote on that, they can go to github.co/OSS-awards. And that is a great way to vote, to give some of your favorite community projects some love. So
fantastic.
I was going to use that kind of as a segue to plug for that.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm also giving my own session on Thursday.
Yes, I was going to say.
There you go.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
obviously my favorite session.
Obviously.
Clearly, pimp your own stuff. Now, what is your session going to be on, Martin?
So the Octoverse report just got released just now. So if you head over to octoverse.github.com, you'll be able to go take a look at the report. And basically, I'm closing out the session. What more do we need than a load of graphs? So I'm going to go through all those statistics, all through those graphs, and we're really going to dig in and find the highlights. And I'm actually, rather than just reading the report out, which wouldn't be the best presentation in the world, I'm kind of picking out some of my highlights, and then also the Octoverse report's a lot of data, allows you to draw conclusions, and so I'm sort of bringing some of the conclusions I get from the report, and then allowing people to kind of do their own conclusions as well. So yeah, should be good.
Now, I know that I'm not trying to spoil your session too much, but since we are talking about the Octoverse report, since it just came out, was there anything high level from that really surprised you?
Yes. No, do I want to do this as a spoiler? Okay, I'll do it as a spoiler.
Yeah, do it as a spoiler. Just do it as a little preview, because people can still come to Martin's session. Or you can watch the whole thing, but give us a little. So
spoiler. We have that language chart, and that's always one of my favorite things about the Octoverse report is that language chart. Well, it's great, but it's quite static because the popular languages, despite developers, we always like to declare things are dead, you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
It's reasonably static, but
Wait, is Perl back? Is that what you're telling me?
Not quite, but close.
Okay.
Shell scripts are one of the fastest growing languages.
Look at that, okay.
And I think this is and obviously we're just showing the data, but and we're seeing a massive growth in things like HCL. Obviously, we're seeing lots of Go with Kubernetes and things. So it really seems like the ops community have kind of got on board with sharing and learning and collaborating. And so this whole DevOps thing is actually working now.
Yeah.
And everyone's, but not just working together, but actually working with each other in the open source community. So that's fascinating to me.
No, I think that is so fascinating. Shell.
Right?
Shell. No, that's, but you know what I have noticed, and I guess the data sort of shows this, is there has been this resurgence. Have you guys noticed this in the last year or so of CLI tooling?
Yeah,
and around that, with things like from our friends at Charm and things like Textualize, which have really made, I think, not just in the DevOps space, but in a lot of places, it's like the command line is back a little bit.
Yeah, and a lot of these, especially with Rust coming up strong, and they're obviously growing as well. There's some really cool new sort of command line frameworks and applications being written in Rust that just really, I know, it gives a great command line experience, and we spend so much time in the command line. Yeah. My kids, whenever I've worked from home for my children's entire life. Hey kids, they're actually watching right now, and they know there's different levels of daddy is busy. There's the door open, come on in. There's the door closes on a phone call. Well, we'll just come on in anyway and steal paper from the printer and things. And then there's a big black scary screen on the monitor, and he's staring at it intently. That's the daddy's really busy, we're going to leave him alone screen kind of thing. So yeah, but we'd spend so much time in the command line, so it's good that it's having a bit of a resurgence, really.
It is. And kind of speaking of daddy is busy time.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your badge a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's fancy.
I don't know if the camera's going to be able to get this up or not, but Martin has a very special badge.
Absolutely.
Well,
cool.
I've given you some badges.
You have.
Yeah.
We have them as well.
We
have them as well.
Yeah. So this is we did it in partnership with Pimeroni, and they're around actually. They'll be around tomorrow on the garden stage as well. And they're a great electronics company, a hobbyist company in the UK, and then work with them to build this. It's a PCB as a GitHub badge, and it's got an e-ink display. But on the back is all the microprocessor, which is an RP2040, which is incredibly powerful. This microprocessor runs Doom. You know what I mean? It's it can do VGA. It's amazing. It's insanely powerful. And then we're just using it to display your name. But there's all sorts of hidden features, hidden functionality in here. We're doing it as a bit of a test this year. I kind of wanted to give them to everybody, but we weren't sure if all the logistics were going to work. So we're just doing a beta test with a few sort of stars and a couple of hubbers and things, see how it goes. So far, they've been holding up really well, though. I've bashed mine around. I've had mine in my pocket.
Yeah.
Fine.
They've been holding up really well. Yeah. And as Martin mentioned, this is sort of a test. But yeah, I mean, the fact that this is a PCB that we basically made into the badge and then put the
e-ink display on.
The ink display on it is very, very cool.
And it's completely hackable. You plug that into the USB-C port, plug it into your computer,
there you go.
Yep.
and then you fire up an editor like Thonny or something like that, and you can actually directly connect. It runs Python. MicroPython. So you come on here, you can edit the code that's making the badge. You can edit the text files. So if you want to become Boaty McBoatface, be at it. You can just go do that. So yeah, that was my toy. That's what sort of kept me busy in the evening. So
I love this.
Wow. Yeah. Hacking a conference badge only at GitHub Universe.
yeah. It's good.
A lot of people on Twitter are actively asking for them, so I think that this is going to be a good test. So hopefully,
that's success for me. If you'll complain to the conference organizers that you haven't got one of these, that means I'll be able to do them for everybody next year. So put in some give them 5 stars, but then in the comments say Martin's badge. I want that next year. Thanks very much. That'd be great.
Yeah. Okay. So when speaker feedback, give Martin 5 stars. We'll give us 5 stars too. And then say I want his badge.
Yeah. There you go.
Absolutely. Right. So Martin, last question. So you talked about your session. Can you give us a little sneak peek about what's going to be at your session?
Yep. So as I say, digging into the reporting, and then we're also going to talk about the countries that have been really growing actively on GitHub. Because, we're here in beautiful San Francisco, and it's always this glorious and sunny in November here in San Francisco, as we all know. And but, here it's very easy to kind of think, oh, yeah, everybody knows GitHub. You're in the hotel, people know what GitHub is. Where I live, nobody knows what GitHub is. They think I'm saying rude words. So what we're seeing is, there's quite a lot. There's obviously been lots of growth still in the US, but there's always a hype. Everybody knows what GitHub is. Outside of the US, that's not the case, and we've been seeing more and more participation in open source outside of the US and Western Europe from all sorts of countries. And more importantly, what we're seeing is, everybody is a developer. If you come to GitHub, you are a developer. You belong here, okay?
Yes.
And I don't care. Everybody's got imposter syndrome.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Martin. You're right. Everybody is a developer. And we are now going to bring on Allison and Maya. But before we do that, we want to catch up with our remote host, Damo, who is at the GitHub store here at Universe.
Hi, folks. Good to see you. I am here. I'm backstage behind the main stage where the keynote just went on. Did you see it? It was amazing. So much stuff that got announced. I've been seeing the Twitters light up. I'm sure we'll look at that a little bit later. I've got my little, it's good to see Martin talking about the badge. I've got my little one here. I've already had a little bit of a hack at it. I put my pronouns on there, moved some things around. Pretty exciting. Definitely next year, hopefully we'll get all of them. Right, Martin? All right. Speaking of tech, just have a little bit of a look behind me. This is what we call the video village. This is where we kind of mix everything together. I say we, this is the royal we. I have nothing to do with this. But look at all of the action that's going on. You can even probably see me on one of the monitors back there, least exciting part. But yeah, this is where all the action happens. This is how we are streaming to you across the 4 content tracks, as well as the 1 track where we show you a whole bunch of stuff. But I'm here not just by myself, I'm joined by Nathri. Good to see you.
Hey Damien, good to see you. Off stage now.
Off stage, we've done our bit. We can relax now, right? We can have a little chat. So you spoke a lot about what GitHub is doing and what the community is doing to kind of support open source developers, including the one thing I want to really talk to you about is the accelerator program, which sounds really exciting, but I want to know kind of what careers are you looking at in terms of the accelerator? People have jobs already, right? What do they need this for?
Yeah, I think what we find oftentimes is developers are enterprise developers by day, and then by night they're in community discussions and issues and sort of have this overwhelmed feeling of wanting to contribute to community, but also needing to have a paycheck and live a life. And so, the thing about the accelerator is we find that we want to build this missing middle. You're not just an enterprise developer all the way on the left, and then all the way on the right, you're not just starting an open source company and having to raise VC money and do the whole shebang. Instead, you can focus on a project and you can really become a one-man or a one-woman show. One of the advisors that we have in the accelerator is someone who's really showcased this, Mike Purim, who's built really a business around a project called Sidekick, and he's really shown the path over the last decade that you don't have to commit to that thing on the left, an enterprise job, or that thing on the right, a VC-backed company that is expected to hit that 100 millionaire or whatever it is, but actually be a really successful business. And what's interesting, is like when you think about the internet, developers were there first. They were the first creators. And now everyone talks about the creator community. It's like, oh, you've got the Etsy storefront for the knitters, and you've got the Shopify storefront for people who are running e-commerce businesses. And then when you look at developers, it's scattershot. And a lot of people have ideas about what they want to do. And with sponsors, we've been seeing so many new innovative ideas. Just a couple of examples, right? Like Caleb Porzio, who has put together something called Sponsorware, where he wants the community to still have open source, but he needs to be able to fund his own life. He can't be doing everything for free. And he's really shown a path where they can publish something, get sponsorship, and then once they hit a certain mark, it's available to everyone. And that's a really cool place to be. Another example is Evan Yu and the Vue.js community. He's really built an enormous set of contributors. Nonprofit version that I think has struck the balance between what an open source project could look like, where it has foundation backing, or it has, commercial backing. That's another really good example. So we're excited to see all these things.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being able to support people who want those careers as well as the day job, but not have to rely on the day job to get things going. I guess that is the aim, correct?
Yeah, that's the dream, right? And the thing is, we're starting small because we want to see all these different types of experiments. And then we want to know, okay, once you've done that, how do we help you to do more?
That's amazing. So good to talk to you after the keynote. Great job on stage. Well done. Now, yeah, good to see you too. And so from now on, we are going to go back to the garden stage. We are going to kick back to the main stage hosts, the garden stage hosts, and we'll see you a little bit later in the shop, probably.
Thank you so much, Damo. And now is about time to kick off the next round of sessions here at Universe, and there's a ton of stuff on the way.
All right, April Leonard, you saw her during the keynote, but if you did not, then you're going to be able to catch up with what she had to share about CodeSpace. And for those of you here, if you hustle, you can go ahead and make it live.
Absolutely. But now, for those of you who are joining us here at the Garden Stage, I would like to welcome two presenters hot off the keynote stage, Allison and Maya. Welcome, ladies.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
Oh, so happy to see you here. You look great. We should acknowledge that there was originally going to be some custom shirts, right?
There were. We're very sad with the rain yesterday. They got delayed. But Maya and I will just have to find a new use for our cute matching T-shirts.
We will. I think we'll bring them back this time next year.
Yes.
See, we're both massive tea enthusiasts.
Yes.
We wanted to bring that into this, to bring some of what we love, apart from GitHub, into, a little chat. Maybe make some projects about tea. I don't know. I think
I think I could use projects to catalog my tea collection and rate them. I can group them.
Task list for tea.
My whole tasting schedule. Tea is very important, and it's very important that you make it the proper way. Right,
yeah.
Maya?
And do you know what is key about the proper way?
Okay, what's the proper way?
It's the order in which you put the items in the cup, like tea bag, then hot water, then milk, then sugar, if that is your taste. And so, I think roadmap view, this would really help us to make sure that we're doing it in the right order.
Exactly. That is sort of the tea of project management stuff. I love it.
Is there security that we need to worry about?
I'm constantly scared people are going to steal my tea. it is that good. But I don't know, SAML single sign-on for tea, is that a thing?
Some biometric thing, maybe.
The security aspect, and then we'll end this analogy, I promise, could be, making sure that you're getting the water at the proper temperature.
Ooh.
So having some sort of alert on your kettle or whatnot to make sure it's not too hot, but also hot enough. Maybe that could be the security thing. I don't know.
All right, we'll let this go.
Okay.
But we're very, very excited about tea, so we had to bring that here.
Absolutely.
Authentic selves.
We're going to maybe be asking some tea-related questions in a little bit. But Maya, in the keynote, you talked about the growth of enterprise managed users. So a question that a lot of people have had during that section is whether or not that's the only identity option that we now offer for the GitHub Enterprise Cloud.
Yeah, that is a really good question. The answer is no.
Okay.
We have two options for how you manage identities on GitHub Enterprise Cloud. One is either your developers bring their own account. So they use their own personal account for work, and you can apply controls over that. So making sure that they do sign in with SAM or single sign-on. They have your IP allow list enforced. They have two-factor authentication if you want that policy for your organization. So basically, even though they bring their own account, they're still going to have all your security controls when they access your organization. The other option, of course, is enterprise managed users, where you as a company do actually provide your developers with a dedicated account. And there is no one right way. It is a choice depending on what is your right for your company, both in terms of your developers as well in terms of what your security policies are. So we always try and encourage customers who are coming over to Enterprise Cloud to look at both options. There are pros and cons of each option, and make the decision that is right for you. You can move between them. We do have a lot of customers at the minute who are moving from the bring your own account model over to enterprise managed users, because it is a little bit easier for security teams to understand how that all works. But you have some kind of flexibility to change if you want to.
Cool.
Awesome. So we're obviously talking about cloud a lot at GitHub Universe. Enterprise server, what's next?
Yeah, what's next? Well, so the biggest thing with Enterprise Server, of course, is that we do quarterly releases. So 3.7 was our release going out today. 3.8 will be coming out in the early spring of next year. And we are absolutely dedicated to getting those releases out on time every single quarter. The number of features that we're shipping to Enterprise Server keeps growing. So when I joined GitHub 2 years ago, it was about 30 features per release. As we announced today, 3.7 has 70 features.
Wow.
And so bringing all of that value as reliably, consistently, and as high quality as possible to all of our customers is critical. There are some exciting features for me in Enterprise Server, people who love security.
Yeah, we're going to ask Allison next.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not T related, but we are building features specifically for server as well, particularly to help us level up the security profile of the appliance and to help companies who are really scaling globally, who are running CI farms globally, who need horizontal scaling. There are big challenges that companies have when they're trying to self-host that. 3.7 includes a number of those features, particularly around security. And for our larger customers who really need new scale vectors, that's where we're investing a lot as a company.
I feel like you could just go on. You're going to name all 70 features, right?
Yeah,
now that we have the time.
Okay, so feature number 5.
I'm going to start a timer. Name them all. Start.
Oh, gosh. That's so hard. Okay.
No, don't make her do
Well,
that.
my favorite feature in 3.7, which we didn't include in the keynote, though there is a server-specific set of features, is the management console that you use specifically to manage server. We built about 5 new security-related features into that, and I'm a security geek, so I'm super excited for that. And I think our customers will see more and more of those coming out over the next few releases.
Allison, talk to us about what you have coming out in the next few months, because you showed off a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think there's, and I'm going to make a roadmap plan. I'm sorry, I have to.
You have to.
But what is on your roadmap of using roadmaps?
Well, there's a lot on the roadmap, I'll tell you that. And we are leveraging our new roadmap view so we can see it across time.
Good.
Well, today we announced the 2 private betas for Roadmap and Taskless. And so obviously in the future, we're going to be working on responding to that feedback, really making those features shine as we bring them to a public beta and general availability. I'm very, very excited to get that into our user hands. But one thing that I selfishly am very excited to work on and deliver are things in our automation space. So you shouldn't have to constantly groom your backlog. We should be helping you prioritize easily. We should be letting individual developers just work in the issues that they're always in and update things on your project board. Like the ability to automatically add things to the right board when they're created so you can just stay in the tooling that you're used to is, I think, so critical. And so there's a handful of automations that we are including. We announced Auto Archive a couple weeks ago to help you keep your board nice and clean without having to figure out the right set, select all, archive them. It just happens on a cycle for you now. But auto add is what I'm super excited about
Auto add.
because I know I do this every time I create a new project. I have to go, I have to select all my issues, I have to make sure they're all added, and heaven forbid I accidentally miss one, and then my plan's all wrong.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's something I'm super excited about personally, and there's so much more. I could
I'm sure.
list like 70 things probably.
Should we have a race?
You should definitely have a race.
Later,
But
later.
we're running out of time, but I loved hearing about this. Thank you both so much for being here with us and stopping by. Enjoy the rest of the universe and check out their sessions and the things they've got going on the rest of the week. This is fantastic.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.